Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another amazing episode on Life with Monks. Today, I'm going to be talking about a very spicy and interesting topic. From the title, you can already tell that it's going to be about what? One, two, three. Money. Money. Money is one of the most important tools you need to survive. A lot of people say, money makes the world go round. I agree. When love is sweet on a normal day, but when you add money, it makes it what? Sweeter. It makes it sweetest, right? So we're going to be talking about financial transparency in a relationship, marriage, courtship, you name it, right? And if you're single, you're like, oh, this video is not for me. It's for you, my sister, because these are things to look out for before choosing a partner. So we'll get right into it. All right. So one of the things that I quickly learned, and I'm still learning, obviously, in marriage is that when you get married to somebody, you are coming together as one couple. So it means that you're going to have to go through the process of learning about each other and how you individually handle different areas of life. We're going to be talking about finances specifically, right? The whole concept of marriage is that you're leaving your family and you're coming together with this new person who has like a completely different ideology to life, for things as little as, this is how much I'm going to decide to spend on traveling, or I expect that my wife works, and brings money to the table, or I expect that my wife will just be a full housewife and she'll do all the chores and take care of the home while I go out and provide. So there are ways that people think, and this is how, because of how they were raised, or because of the values they've learned from their sphere of influence in the society. So when you're coming together with somebody, you need to know that this is the time to drop the idea of this is how I do things, to okay, let's talk about it and what do we agree will work for us as a couples, right? This doesn't mean that this completely eradicates your personality or eradicates the need for independent thinking, but it means that you have to be able to have set values or sort of like guidelines regarding how you handle different aspects of your home. Now, for single people who are thinking, oh, this is not for me because I'm single, this is very important actually, because if you're able to ask these important questions, what it's going to do for you is going to essentially help the process of your marriage. You know what I mean? Because some people go into marriage completely oblivious to a lot of things, and so it's harder to be like, oh, can you change? Can you work on this and work on that? However, when you talk about it in your relationship, right, it makes it easier, because then what are we working with and how can we from now start to kind of merge our ideas and values together to come up with one that suits both parties. The first thing I'm going to say is that it's important to be able to discuss in detail what financial transparency looks like, right? Shout out to my parents. They did an amazing job, in providing for us and all that. They were constantly, my dad always paid my fees, in high school, in primary school, and to the best of my knowledge in university as well. My mom also supported by making sure we had clothes. She always bought our provisions. So there was some sort of, this is what this person does. So are you able to ask questions like, who is going to be in charge of paying the bills, for instance, the house bills? Who is going to be in charge of, paying the children's school fees? Who is going to be in charge of paying the mortgage? Is it going to be a 50-50 thing? Or is it going to be the man does all the provision and the woman just, chills? Because some people have this idea of, as a woman, my money is my money and our money is my money, right? Which I think is actually a very, very weird thing, because I believe marriage is a partnership, right? Where both people come together to, form, to help each other and support each other. Making sure that you are going through, a list of things that you need and how much you'll be willing to spend. So that could vary for everybody, right? Some people like to buy expensive gadgets and would spend little on clothing, right? So imagine your partner one day goes out and comes back home with a $2,000 or $3,000 gadget. Maybe it's like a new laptop or something, and you're like, what do you mean? And then he's saying, well, I don't buy clothes. You spend like $1 million on clothes. You know what I mean? But I'm buying this and you're having issues. So it's basically just ensuring that you are writing a list of things that you would need to spend money on. So that could vary from groceries, food, expenses, with other things like bills, phone bills, traveling, making sure you get a sense of your partner's style, what's important to them, what do they like spending money on, right? And this would help to kind of see if there's compatibility, right? Because some people are just like, oh yeah, doesn't really matter, but then you find out that, oh, your partner like is spending a lot of money, for instance, on things that are frivolous, right? You feel like, okay, we could actually save this money, but because you haven't spoken about it and you think, oh, whatever, then you find out in marriage and it's harder, right? So making sure that you are going through these things that I mentioned. Second thing is debt. Make sure you're talking about debt. You want to be able to have open conversations and about, like, how much debt do you have? That could be credit card debt. Some people, especially in this part of the world, people take student loans, right? Because some people are not able to pay their school fees outright. That's something that you need to pay off. So when you're getting married to someone, like I said, you're merging your life with this person, and so the person's debts become yours. At least scripturally, that's what it means. Every part of that person becomes infused into your lifestyle as well. So you want to know, how much do you have in debts, right? What do you want to do regarding, or what's the plan regarding paying it out? How soon do you want to pay the debt? The reason is because, for instance, if you want to get a mortgage here, right, if someone already has debt, right, the first thing is, that takes out of how much the bank will be willing to loan you, right, because that's going into your credit. Number two is that if they haven't been diligent in paying that would affect their credit score, which will in turn also reduce the amount of money they can get from the bank if you ever wanted to get a mortgage. So this is very important. Make sure that you are asking these questions. Don't just be like, oh, I love him. Yeah, love is good. He's a good guy. Yes, but there's also other factors that come to play. So make sure you're asking about debts, right? And then I'll give an example. Like I, got into a situation like an accident and I had to pay off a car debt, right? This was something that I spoke to my partner about. We were dating, and then we said, okay, we're going to create a plan to pay it out, right? So that's very important to do. Make sure you talk about that. The other thing is, extended family. This is very important. So, we are Africans, right? Okay, not we are. I am African. My sphere of influence, I have a lot of people that are Africans, meaning that there is a sense of family. There's the need to take care of your family, whether it be your parents, your siblings. For people who are firstborn, there might be a lot more responsibility for you. What does that look like? Are you going to be supporting your parents every month? Which most people should be doing if you have the capacity, right? Because you want to make sure that you're honoring your parents, and that comes that one of the ways you can honor them is also through supporting them, right? It's not like you're trying to pay them back for what they've done. It's not an obligation, but it's just something that as a responsible person, when you get to a certain stage, you have to be able to appreciate them in whatever way you can, right? That would vary based on what you're earning. So what does that look like for you and your partner? The reason is because people have different opinions about it. Some people, might come from a family where they're like, oh no, my parents don't need the money, so I don't see the reason why I should be supporting them. Right? Some people might think, oh well, I need to support my parents because, oh, they don't have much, they need my help, right? So imagine coming together with somebody, you're getting married to somebody, and then you're on two opposite ends of the spectrum. One person thinks I should be supporting my family, my siblings. The other person thinks, oh no, I shouldn't, because they should take care of themselves. And those are different values. So when you start talking about your finances and you're married already, issues or problems start coming up, because you're like, what do you mean you want to buy your parents a car? What do you mean you're sending them a monthly, you're sending them money on a monthly basis? What do you mean you want to send your siblings money? Aren't they working? So these are things that you need to be able to discuss before getting married, okay? In terms of your finances. Next thing is understanding the different personalities. I think this also boils down to what I spoke about before in terms of people have different lifestyles. What does your partner enjoy? And this is also something that's important. I like traveling, right? I'm starting to get into it because now I'm starting to earn money and I can plan towards that. So I've told my partner, he knows that this is something I like. So we have to plan towards it. I think one of the things I quickly learned was I used to just have like this expectation that, maybe he's some, mind reader, and he would just like throw a surprise, which is good. Some people can't do that, right? But I understand that he likes to plan. And planning means that he wants to talk to me and say, okay, how much are we putting aside to save for travel? Because traveling is expensive, right? You're buying plane tickets. You're probably if you're going to a resort place, you're paying for that as well. If you're going to sleep in a hotel, you're paying for that. There's transport, there's food, right? Multiple things. So this actually needs a lot of funds. So you need to be able to plan towards that. If your partner is somebody that likes to buy, maybe invest in homes, for instance, that's what they like to spend on, you know, you have to plan towards that as well. So understanding your partner's personality in terms of what they like would help you also plan together, so that when you're trying to do something for them, you are doing it from a place of, okay, I know this is what my partner likes, right? So you're not loving them the way you think they should be loved, but you're loving them how they want to be loved, right? So when you understand your partners, for instance, like maybe on your birthday, your partner might decide to throw you like a bash or something, and then it's like the best party in town. But you're thinking, well, I don't want that. I want to just be on the boat, just having fun, shaking my bum. Just joking. Shaking my bum money at no shaking bum here, but you know what I mean, like having fun, right? But your partner is throwing you, a surprise birthday, and they've spent all this money, and you're like, oh, thank you, but that's not really what I want. So understanding your partner's personality would help. And finally, it's planning for the future. Very important. So one thing that you need to do is you need to start talking about retirement. No matter how young you are, once you've graduated university, in fact, for some people, their parents actually start helping them save, right? And then, that's where people have like trust funds and all these things. You and your partner need to discuss, what does that look like? How much do we need to retire? You know what I mean? How much we put aside here, we call it RRSP, right? So it's like a retirement plan for yourself and your partner. What kind of lifestyle do we want when we're retired? Okay, so if you want to travel a lot, that means that we're not going to rely on what the government is giving us. We need to actually have other investments, whether that be like a home. Some people have like multiple rental homes and they get like income from that when they're retired. Whether that be like, investing like your actual money in, like stocks, and, putting like a lot of money aside, just to make sure that when you retire, you're not like having money issues, right? And you're not, struggling. So this is important as well, to be able to say, okay, how much are we deciding to put aside for our retirement? What does that look like? And also talking to a financial advisor, so that they can advise you, okay, this is the kind of lifestyle that you want. If you are going to be traveling every twice every year, this is how much you need to be able to sustain yourselves, and without necessarily being dependent on anyone, so you can have a blissful retirement, right? You can enjoy yourself because you've worked all that while. It's time for enjoyment. So these are little things here and there. I don't want to make the video too long, that I think that you should make sure you talk about before you get married. Have a sense of your partner's financial, I guess, like discipline. What does money mean to them? Is this person willing to be transparent in terms of, this is what I earn? Are they open to talking to you about it? Because like I said, it's very important. Finances, like money, is one of the issues, like biggest issues in marriage. Like a lot of marriages, according to statistics, right, crash because, okay, people will have like different opinions about how money should be spent. So, well, that's everything I have for you guys. So don't go and be like people that hear and just ignore. Make sure if you're single, you're talking about these things, okay? If you know you've liked this video, make sure you share to other people so they know the importance of finances, so that they can talk to their prospective partners in the future about these important details when it comes to your finances, right? All right. Thank you so much. If you've joined me till the end, I appreciate and love you. Thank you so much for being patient. I know that I've not been as consistent, but God is helping me. I'll keep trying and I won't give up. And hopefully you guys are always here to support me. I appreciate you. Thank you and have a good day. See you on the next episode. Bye.